Hello guys, I wanted to give you a little update on my project. You remember I was working on making a nice little display for my grandfather's kit, and look how it came out. I'm really pleased with that. So what I've got here is, this is actually my other grandfather. So what I've got here is a picture of my grandfather, and I found a little special frame. It's just a little plastic white frame that I found in a charity shop or something, but I've treated it the same as I've treated this outside frame, and the two of them are sort of matching, but they look different to one another. You can see the one is very detailed and the one is quite plain. I've also included this, which is actually a letter opener. You probably can't see, but it's got scratched on it. It's got 1914 to 1919 to show that this grandfather was fighting in First World War in France. And on the bottom there is a little French and Belgian flag. And look at the bottom of that, it's actually made out of a bullet. So this is something that he brought back from his war experience, and he had it turned into this little letter opener as a sort of a memento. It might have even been given to him as a gift from friends in his battalion or something. I don't know. Anyway, it's a bit of a precious thing. It shows the great sacrifice that this grandfather of mine made, and I think it's nice to honour it by having it in a little container on the wall. So I've also put his name and a little bit about what he did during the wars. He was actually in both wars. I'm just going to show you how I got this gold effect on the frame, in case you want to try do it. Otherwise, just to show you how it's done. So I'll leave that there. Now you can't see it, but never mind, I'll leave it there. So what I did was I used this paint, which is pale gold hue. It's not really metallic shiny, it's just kind of a goldish colour, and it's actually a bit rubbish. I've had it for years and I've never known what to do with it because it's not a very useful colour. But this was a perfect way of using it up. So I painted the box frame and the little liner in the pale gold hue. And actually I found this plastic frame as well and just painted that as well. So that's just painted all over in the pale gold hue, and it's got 2 coats to make it nice and goldy. It's not perfect, doesn't need to be perfect. But then comes the fun bit. Well, okay, I also got the back and cut out a piece of fabric, exactly the right size for the back. I just traced around the back, traced around onto the fabric, cut it out, and then that gives you something to put at the back to add a little colour and interest. So in here I've got a sort of greenish fabric which has got a tartan effect. This one's going to be for my other grandfather, and it's a slightly bolder one. Okay, so now I've got my pieces, I've got my base, I've got various pictures that I can stick on, little items that I can put in. But the fun part is this. So you get your frame, you get your paints. Now I've just got one of these little cheap tubes of brown, some sort of brown that I want to use up, and a little bit of black. And I've got a squeeze of the brown and a smaller squeeze of the black. You just need a tiny bit of the black. Tiny little bit of the black. There you go. And you mix them together with your paintbrush, and a tiny little dot of water, which I don't really have with me, but there we go, tiny drop of water. Now these are all acrylic paints, the gold and the brown that I'm making. You see, I'm mixing together the brown and the black, and then I'm just going to put it on. Now, on this big one, it's actually quite fun and quite quick to do. So I want it to go into all the corners. I've added a little water to make it sort of spread around a bit more easily. Can you see what I'm doing there? Okay, so I'm painting all in there. Make sure you get into all the cracks and creases. There we are. Underneath, don't forget, the sides will show on a box frame like this as well. And once you've got it into all the cracks and creases, doesn't need to be perfect. Down there. Then comes the fun part. Then you get your hands and you rub. And you rub and you rub and you rub. I'm using my whole palm, and it spreads that brown all over the place, and it's hiding that gold underneath, that sort of yellowy gold. And you might think that that's not very nice, but what you're going to do next, I need a little bit more paint. See, it's coming up like that. So you want the gold to show through as a colour, but not really as very shiny, lots of it, lots of gold. I forgot to put water out for myself. All right. So your hands get pretty mucky doing this, but it's very satisfying. Okay, so you end up with something a bit like this. You've got most of the gold is covered and hidden. In a dark brown. Okay, then you get your metallic gold. Now this one is a fantastic metallic gold. You'll know it, we use it in Art Club all the time, don't we? And this one gives a lovely little finish. So I'm just going to take a blob of that on my finger, and I'm going to rub it onto all the edges, just here and there, just brightening it up. Adding a little gold here and there, and you will eventually end up with a finish which is a bit like that. Oh. You want the creases and the corners to be dark, and you want the edges to be light. So if there's a place where there's a pointy bit sticking up, make it lighter. Now this is quite satisfying on a plain frame like this, but watch this. It's so much more satisfying on a detailed frame like this one. See, it's got all those curly whirlies on the edge. So when I paint my colour in, I paint it into all those cracks right there and really smoosh it into all the creases. I'm trying to do this so you can see it, but then I can't see it. Smoosh it into all those corners, down into all the dark. Now you'll see when you go over any bumpy area like this, the brown will just stay on the bumps. You don't want that, you want to work that brown right into all the cracks and creases down there. And then, come on, fill up. I'm just going to do this corner so you can see. I won't make you sit there watching while I do the whole thing. So if you wanted to make one of your pictures look lovely, you could do exactly this. You could do it with brown and gold, or you can even do it with gold and a colour. You know, this can look fantastic if you use gold and a sort of a pale blue, like a sky blue. Gives it that sort of princessy kind of look, Baroque kind of style look. Or you can do it, you can mess around, you can practice different things, try different things. Okay, now, once I've got this covered to an extent, I'm going to just show you how satisfying it is. All right, so pretend the whole thing is like that. All right, just done the edges and got into all these cracks and creases here. Now with our hand again, just wipe. And how satisfying is that? Do you see how when you wipe, all those highlighted details start to show again? And you get mucky hands. Anywhere that looks like it could do with a bit of gold, you just wipe. And you end up with really quite a special looking frame. It looks like a very old frame, an old and golden frame. Now, if this is too dark and grown up for your tastes, you can do it with other colours. You can do gold with blue, as I said, or with maybe a pale sort of sage green with pink. You can do silver, and probably silver and navy would be kind of cool. So there are lots of things you can do. Now you see it's got that little look, and it looks really expensive if you ignore that. It kind of looks like a real gold frame. But then when you add your little bit of the shiny metallics gold, it will take it up a notch. So you spread it on your fingers so there's not a big blob, and then you just gently wipe a little bit on. Just wiping on the high parts. Finger painting is always so satisfying, isn't it? Okay, so that is the method. You use these 3 stages. So first of all, you do your pale gold hue. That could even just be a yellow if you wanted, or some people use like an orange or a red even. Then you put your browny black on top. Then you use your shiny gold. And with those 3 layers working on top of each other and showing through each other, you can get this lovely finished result. And you can show off maybe your artwork, or maybe some awards that you've won. Maybe you got a fabulous prize for doing something. You could put a little trophy in there, or your certificate, or a picture of your favourite hero. I don't know. There are a million things you can do with a beautiful frame, and it is quite nice to have a golden frame around your work. It does make it look a little bit special. You'll notice that if you ever go to the National Portrait Gallery or the National Gallery and you look at the artwork there, it's almost always got a big, thick, fancy gold frame around it. And there's a reason. It's because it makes the art look good. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that rather interesting little project with you. I'm doing lots and lots of different things at the moment. Lots of different projects in all different sorts of ways, just like Art Club, because I miss you guys so much. I've got to keep making stuff. So I think I'll just now and then send you a little idea of what I'm making, and who knows, maybe you could share some pictures of what you've made, or maybe you could even send a little video. But do check with a parent first, and make sure that no photos or videos have got your face in them, please, or your name. We don't want your name or your face on them, but we would love to see. I would love to see what you're making, and I'm sure that all your other friends from Art Club would love to see too. Right, well, I hope you guys are doing really, really well. I hope you're happy and having fun, and making the most of the opportunity to just create stuff day and night. All right, bye-bye. See ya.